What if I told you the world isn't built on fairness or even morality? What if doing the right thing, being kind, working hard, and playing by the rules doesn't actually get you ahead? What if the people who rise to the top aren't the ones with the strongest ethics, but the ones who understand how to manipulate the game? Does it feel like those who cut corners, deceive, and step on others are the ones who succeed, while the virtuous struggle, left behind in a world that seems to reward the worst? Why is that? Why do the ruthless and unscrupulous dominate, while the good get overlooked? This isn't just a harsh reality, it's a fundamental truth of the world, one that Friedrich Nietzsche spent his entire life unraveling. And trust me, the answers he uncovered are unsettling, but they will change how you see everything, from power to success to your very place in the world. Nietzsche's ideas are radical, and they're not easy to swallow. But if you're ready to look the truth in the eye, this is the discussion you need to hear. Because the truth is, the world doesn't reward goodness, it rewards something far more dangerous. And that something is power. By the end of this, you'll understand what it really takes to rise to the top in a world that doesn't seem to care about ethics or fairness. But there's a final, shocking revelation at the end that could change everything you thought you knew about success and about yourself. Here's the first hard truth. The world does not run on morality, fairness, or justice. It runs on power, and power doesn't care about being good. It only cares about being strong. People who rise to the top aren't necessarily the best. They're the ones who understand how to navigate the rules of the game. Nietzsche's boldest idea, morality itself is not a universal truth. It's a tool used by the powerful to control and dominate the weak. This leads us to Nietzsche's most controversial and radical concept, the will to power. At the core of human nature, Nietzsche argued, is not a drive for happiness, justice, or even morality, but for power. Power is the ability to shape the world to your vision, to impose your will on others, instead of being controlled by them. The ones who succeed are the ones who embrace this drive without hesitation, who pursue strength, control, and influence, no matter the cost. This isn't about saying all powerful people are evil. It's not even about saying that good people are always doomed to fail. But Nietzsche makes a tough warning. Many of the values we hold dear, values like humility, selflessness, and obedience, may not be designed to help us. Instead, they benefit the people in power, and if you're not careful, they might be the very chains that keep you from rising. What if everything you've been taught about morality is designed to keep you weak? In one of his most provocative ideas, Nietzsche distinguished between master morality and slave morality. But here's the shocker. Master morality is the morality of the powerful, the strong, the leaders. It values ambition, strength, independence, and the freedom to create your own values. Meanwhile, slave morality, the morality of the oppressed, exalts humility, meekness, obedience, and self-sacrifice. Not because these qualities are inherently virtuous, but because they keep the weak from challenging the strong. Think about this. Throughout history, those in power have encouraged the masses to embrace self-sacrifice, patience, and suffering as virtues. Why? Because a population that sees suffering as noble is less likely to fight back. A society that views power as evil is less likely to challenge those who hold it. The real question is, who benefits from this? Could it be that everything you've been taught about morality, success, and being a good person is designed to keep you in a cycle of struggle while the powerful stay in control? Nietzsche didn't argue that all morality is meaningless or that you must be ruthless to succeed. Rather, he challenged us to question: who defines morality? Why do we uphold certain values? And most importantly, do these values serve us, or those who benefit from our submission? Here's the critical question. What if traditional morality, especially the kind rooted in religion and social convention, was crafted by those who lacked power as a way to control the powerful? This is the essence of Nietzsche's slave morality, a system that glorifies humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice, not for any inherent goodness, but because it discourages rebellion. It teaches that suffering is virtuous, turning the other cheek is noble, and desiring power is sinful. But Nietzsche saw through this. He argued that the strong, those capable of shaping the world to their will, should not follow the rules imposed by the weak. Instead, they should embrace their potential and break free from the chains of conventional morality. This leads to one of Nietzsche's most controversial concepts, the Übermensch, overman. The overman is a new kind of human being who rises above the limitations of traditional morality, one who does not passively accept society's values, but creates their own. The overman isn't a brute. He doesn't need to be. He is someone who refuses to be bound by morality that holds him back, creating his own path and shaping his destiny. So what's holding you back? Could it be the very morality you've been conditioned to accept? Nietzsche's vision of the Übermensch, overman, isn't about becoming ruthless or cruel. It's about transcending the limitations of imposed morality and fully embracing your own power, ambition, and creative potential. But what does this mean in real life? It doesn't mean you have to stomp on others to succeed. Nietzsche wasn't advocating for evil or cruelty. Instead, he wanted people to stop feeling guilty for pursuing greatness. He urged individuals to stop being ashamed of their desires, their ambitions, and their drive to achieve. Think about it. The most successful innovators, thinkers, and leaders throughout history didn't follow society's rules. They didn't wait for permission. They challenged the status quo, rejected limitations, and forged their own path. This is what separates those who stay trapped in struggle from those who redefine success on their own terms. But here's the catch. Most people are conditioned to fear their own power. From birth, they are taught to feel guilty for wanting more, for striving to be the best, for seeking to rise above the rest. Nietzsche saw this guilt as mental slavery, a form of invisible imprisonment that holds people back from reaching their true potential. Consider your own life for a moment. How often have you hesitated to take action because you worried about others judging you? How many times have you downplayed your ambition, fearing it would make you seem arrogant? How many opportunities have slipped away because you thought it was wrong to put yourself first? These are the effects of slave morality in action, keeping you stuck, holding back your power, and preventing you from stepping into your true potential. Here's the hard truth. Nietzsche didn't believe that everyone could or would become an overman. In fact, he argued that most people would never break free from these limitations. The majority, he believed, would stay trapped in self-doubt, waiting for someone else to tell them what's right and wrong, how to live, and what they should believe. Only a rare few would have the courage to reject these illusions and forge their own destiny. So are you one of the few who will rise above the limitations? Or will you remain stuck, waiting for someone else to tell you how to live? Here's where the real challenge begins. Breaking free from the morality imposed on you isn't easy. It demands that you question everything you've been taught, everything you've accepted as truth. It requires the courage to stand alone, to go against the crowd, and to embrace your own strength. even when the world tells you not to. But the most powerful insight is yet to come, the one that could completely transform how you approach power, morality, and success. But before we dive in, ask yourself this. What would your life look like if you were no longer afraid to pursue your own power? What would change? What limits would suddenly disappear? What could you achieve if you weren't bound by guilt, hesitation, or fear of judgment? Most people never ask themselves these questions. Why? Because they've been conditioned to believe that power is corrupt, dangerous, and something to avoid. But Nietzsche challenges this belief at its core. He argues that power is not inherently evil. It's simply a natural force, like gravity or fire. It's not power that's destructive, but how it's used. And here's the kicker. Those who reject power in favor of blind obedience are doomed to be controlled by those who understand how to wield it. This is why the worst people often succeed. They don't hesitate. They don't waste time doubting whether they deserve power. They take what they want without apology. Meanwhile, the good ones struggle, not because they're incapable, but because they've been taught to hesitate. They've been conditioned to suppress their natural instincts, to play small, to follow rules, even when those rules keep them trapped. But there's a way out. Nietzsche doesn't tell us to abandon morality altogether. He urges us to create our own. The Übermensch, Overman, doesn't passively accept society's values. They define their own principles. They don't seek approval from the masses. They don't live in fear of judgment. They take full responsibility for their existence and shape their own destiny. And this is where most people fail. They wait for permission. They wait for someone else to tell them it's okay to take control of their lives. But Nietzsche's entire philosophy is built on one brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. It's up to you to break free. Will you? No one is going to give you permission to step into your power. If you wait for it, you'll wait forever. Look around at the world today. The people who hold the most influence, the ones shaping history and redefining industries, aren't necessarily the smartest or the most ethical. They are the ones who understand how power works. They recognize that the game of life isn't won by following the same rules everyone else follows. It's won by understanding the hidden rules, the ones never openly spoken about. One of these hidden rules is simple. Power is taken, not given. No one hands over influence, success, or authority freely. If you're waiting for a fair system that rewards goodness, you're waiting for something that doesn't exist. Nietzsche saw this clearly. He urged people to embrace their inner strength, not as an act of aggression, but as an act of self-creation. But here's the catch. The road to self-mastery isn't easy. It requires something most people lack, the ability to endure discomfort. Nietzsche believed that true growth and transformation come from struggle. He rejected the idea that life should be free from hardship. Instead, he saw suffering as a necessary ingredient in becoming strong. The problem? Modern society tells us the opposite. It pushes the idea that comfort is the goal, that we should avoid pain at all costs, and that difficulty is something to escape from. But this mindset only keeps people weak. Nietzsche believed that suffering should not be avoided. It should be embraced. Every challenge, every failure, every painful moment is an opportunity to sharpen yourself, to refine your will, to become something greater. This is why the weak remain weak. When they encounter struggle, they seek escape. They look for distractions, excuses, or someone else to blame. The strong, on the other hand, lean into struggle. They recognize that every difficulty is fuel for their own evolution. This brings us to a profound realization. The difference between those who rise and those who remain trapped isn't talent or intelligence. It's their relationship with struggle. The worst people often succeed because they're willing to do what others won't. They take risks. They make bold moves. They endure discomfort, all for the sake of power. Meanwhile, the good often struggle because they wait for a world that rewards virtue on its own. But that world doesn't exist. If you want to rise, you must face the truth. Success isn't given, it's taken. The power to change your life is in your hands, but only if you're willing to embrace the struggle. So, the question is, which path will you take? Will you continue to believe in a system designed to keep you powerless? Or will you redefine your own path, embrace the struggle, and rise above the limitations imposed on you? This brings us to the final, most crucial insight, the one that will forever shift your understanding of power, success, and your true potential. But before we reveal it, ask yourself this: what are you willing to endure in order to become who you are truly meant to be? This is the ultimate question, the one that separates those who break free from those who remain trapped. Because here's the harsh truth: nothing of value, no success, no influence, no true power is achieved without sacrifice. The world doesn't grant greatness freely. It demands effort, resilience, and an unshakable will. Nietzsche understood this better than anyone. He believed that most people would never rise above their circumstances, not because they were incapable, but because they lacked the will to endure the struggle that transformation demands. He didn't pity them. He simply recognized that the vast majority prefer comfort over greatness. They choose the illusion of security over the pursuit of something greater. But for those who refuse to remain in chains, for those who seek to become more than what society has told them, there is another path, the path of the Übermensch. This is the path of the self-actualized individual who does not wait for the world to grant them power, but takes control of their own fate. And here's the most important revelation of all. Power is not something external. It is not found in wealth, status, or control over others. Real power comes from within. It's the ability to shape yourself, to rise above your limitations, to define your own values and live by them, no matter what the world says. This is what separates those who merely exist from those who truly live. The good struggle because they expect the world to recognize their virtue. But the world does not work that way. Recognition, respect, influence. These are earned, not wished for. They are the result of action, of refusing to accept the limits imposed upon you. Nietzsche's philosophy is not just about understanding the world, it's about transforming yourself. It's about breaking free from the beliefs that keep you weak and reclaiming the power that has always been yours. So what does this mean for you? It means that waiting for justice, fairness, or the world to recognize your worth is a losing game. It means that if you want something, you must be willing to take it. Not through manipulation or cruelty, but through absolute conviction in your own strength. It means embracing struggle, not as something to be feared, but as something to be mastered. It means pushing through resistance, standing firm in your beliefs, and refusing to be shaped by the expectations of others. The worst people often succeed because they understand this at an instinctive level. They do not hesitate. They do not wait. They move forward with certainty, knowing that power belongs to those who claim it. But the truly great, the ones who not only succeed but create lasting impact, are those who combine this understanding of power with purpose. The choice is yours. You can continue living according to the rules that were designed to keep you small, or you can rise above them. You can wait for permission, or you can seize control of your own destiny. Because in the end, the most dangerous thing you can do in life is to refuse to claim the power that is already within you. So now, I ask you, will you rise, or will you remain in the shadows of those who do?